Welcome back to 101 Sports. There has been plenty of surprise, celebration, and suspense in college sports this week. And here to join me to discuss this is Rajat Agarwal and Justin Beagle. Justin, was Maryland's move to the Big Ten the right decision?
I literally can't wrap my mind around this. This was the worst decision I think Maryland could have made. As a true Maryland fan, I was heartbroken. They were a charter school for the ACC like 58 years ago, and now they just left like out of nowhere. It's ridiculous.
I understand like the pride and everything, but this was a great move and it had to happen because Maryland's athletic department is in a financial crisis.
Great move for what sport?
They've already had to cut 7 programs. They've already had to cut 7 programs. Obviously football.
Think of the programs they still have.
Yeah, but obviously football and basketball are going to stay because those are the biggest ones. But as the situation gets worse, they're slowly going to have to cut into football and basketball.
They're ending tradition. No more Duke and Maryland, no more North Carolina and Maryland.
Yeah, but eventually they're going to have to.
Basketball games.
You don't know what's going to happen. They might have to cut those if the economic crisis gets that worse.
Too. And in, oh my God, in football. I'm literally.
Financially,
I'm still a Maryland fan by heart.
Maryland fan by heart.
Financially,
Listen to me right now. You're going to regret that decision. You will regret that decision. I can't. It just
it had to
pains
happen.
me.
It had to happen.
It pains me as a Maryland fan.
It was a great decision.
No, it was horrible. President Lowe is going to get no. Absolutely not.
Justin, don't worry. All's going to be okay. All's going to be okay in the Terp land.
No, it's not.
It will. It will. Just ride it through. Ride it through.
I will try. I will try.
Okay, gentlemen. So the big game coming up is the national championship game with Notre Dame against an SEC foe. Rajat, what's going to be the keys to this game?
I think the key for Notre Dame is Everett Golson, and that's really their only hope against one of those SEC defenses. If he can replicate the performance that Johnny Manziel had against Alabama a couple of weeks ago, if he can keep the play alive with his speed and his agility, I think he can cause some problems for both those defenses. But other than that, I think Notre Dame will struggle on offense.
I think so too. I think it will depend on Everett Golson and then Theo Reddick, their running back.
Yeah.
This past week, he definitely showed that against USC, they're going to need him in this championship game. I think that Everett Golson he has a running threat and a deep arm threat, but if he gets into trouble and gets inconsistent like he has all season, if you have to put in Tommy Rees, you're really going to have to rely on Theo Reddick to get the rushes that you need and catch those short passes.
Because we know the Notre Dame defense can hold its own, but we don't know how long. If they have to be out on the field the whole time. Then.
So basically it rests in the hands of Everett Golson and Theo Reddick, really.
Well, obviously, Golson is going to have his work cut out for him. I think we can all agree about that in the national championship game. Now, moving on, what's going to happen with the SEC loser? The way that the polls work, most likely they're going to fall behind Florida. Do you think Florida is more deserving to play in the BCS game or the eventual loser of the SEC championship game?
This is a really tricky question. I don't believe Florida deserves to be as ranked as high as they are, and I believe even if Georgia or Alabama loses, they should be ranked higher than Florida. Florida has had an inconsistent season. They really have not produced the point that you would want them to, but they've somehow managed to find a way to win. Their biggest win this year was against LSU early on in October, and they just really haven't done so.
Florida has had so many wins. They beat Florida State, they beat LSU, and they beat South Carolina. They beat all of them. I think
but
it
they've
depends.
struggled as of late. They
have as of late, but I think it depends on who loses. If you're comparing Florida to Alabama, I think Florida should get to go. I think they've got
over Alabama.
I think Florida has more wins than Alabama. Alabama has a win against LSU. Florida has a win against LSU, and they've got a win against South Carolina and Florida State. If you're comparing them to Georgia, Georgia beat Florida, so I think it's a no-brainer. Georgia should get to go.
You see, I still think that either if Alabama or Georgia loses, either one of those teams would beat Florida. So I think either Georgia or Alabama would definitely deserve that bid over Florida.
Hey, well, regardless, it's bowl season. We're all excited, right?
True. Best time of the year.
Best time.
That's all the time we have to talk about college sports. But don't go anywhere. Up next, Natalie Beach hosts our NASCAR experts.